day 3 in the harvest, and boy, do we have a story to tell today. The Lord has done an amazing work in one man's life today. I told these guys I'm going to let them tell the story, so I want you to know that the Lord has worked in all of our hearts today and just proven himself faithful. So Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody kind of what happened today.
All right. Well, today it was my first time meeting this gentleman, and it was obvious that he had already been wrestling with some things in his life, and that he was trying to find hope and meaning in his life. And through his daughter's death, I think it broke him to his to the furthest he could go anymore. And he was kind of teary-eyed when I came up. Like, I was there. I showed up a little later, and he just didn't know what to say. And then Brother Nick had asked me, how about would you mind sharing what Jesus has done in your life? And I got to tell him the hope that I found, even through the time of my accident, through my rough upbringing that I've had, and how I still have a reason to smile. I still have joy in my heart, and as I told him, I've got a little pep in my step, a little pep in my roll now. So, and it's all because of what Christ has done in my life, and how that even though I should still be bitter and angry at the world and at God, and for allowing me to become paralyzed and live in pain and live alone and different things, even though I deal with those things and they kind of hurt me at times, I still have, when I'm focused on Christ, I still have hope. I have more hope than I did before, and I see these things as a blessing because it allows me to rely on the Lord even more so. And so I think that he recognized that, and that even though that I had faced death through my accident, I still have a reason to be joyful and not bitter and sad and angry at the world.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
so
Marcus, go for it, man.
So, like Jeremy said, he came over a few minutes after we got there. Things kind of changed on the fly today, and we went through the story of Zacchaeus with him, and it was awesome because Nick said there are typically 4 questions I ask when I read a passage, and one of them being, what does this tell you about God? And when we asked him that, he gave a really simple but perfect answer, and he said that this story tells me God doesn't care if you're a sinner. And it was like, I was sitting there trying to think of my really good fancy answer, and then he said that, and I was like, wow, that's perfect. It's that simple. And so we kept talking and discussing that story and how he's right, Jesus doesn't care if you're a sinner, but he wants a relationship with us, and that led to Nick asking if he was ready to accept Christ as his Savior, and he did. And it is an awesome day, and we can't wait to see how much he grows and where we go from here.
So obviously there's a lot to give thanks to the Lord for, and so this was our 3rd day out. This was our 3rd, and each day that we've been out, we've actually been able to have a conversation with this gentleman each time. And the first time that we met, we shared the gospel with him, and we could see the Holy Spirit working in his heart, but he just wasn't ready. He hadn't let go of some things in his past, or wasn't ready to let go of those things. And the second time we went out, we had a conversation with him and asked him about the gospel and if he had thought any more about it, and his response was basically a response of, I I feel like I'm working towards having a good relationship with God, but I haven't got there yet. And so we tried to explain the gospel more clearly, about how you can't clean yourself up. It's about surrendering. And so we circled back to that today as we studied God's word together, and we asked him if he had thought about that more, and if he was ready to surrender and give control of his life to the Lord. And he made that decision today. That was on his own.
Yeah.
He had a beautiful prayer, just accepting the end of himself and asking for the Lord to be the Lord of his life. So.
And he was so vulnerable.
Oh yeah, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it was the Spirit was very, very present today, and it was such a great experience for all of us. You can be praying for discipleship as we continue to meet, that goes well. I know that it will, and so we're just so excited. So just keep praying, and we're just so excited to see what the Lord continues to do in this man's life. And he knows that as a follower of Jesus, it's his duty and privilege to be able to share the hope that he has. And so he left today wanting to share what had happened in his life with those that he has a relationship with. And so you can be praying for his obedience and faithfulness to give away the hope that he had received today. So thank you all so much for your prayers, your thoughts, your comments. It's obvious that the Lord is doing a great work here in Springfield, and it's because of prayers. So thank you all. Love you
guys. Love you.